Being lean is rare. And when you're lean and when you're in shape, people will treat you differently in a negative way, but also a positive way as well. Let's start with the negative way first. When you're lean and when you're in shape, that is a spotlight shining down on that person's insecurities. It reveals how they feel about themselves. When you're lean and when you're in shape, people will make negative remarks about you because you take care of yourself, not even realizing it's about how they feel. I'll give you an example of this. One time I was at work and there was a comment made, oh, let Williams do it because Williams, he can carry everything. He works out, rah, rah, rah. And you know what my reply was to that? I said, well, God forbid I take care of myself and I make sure I'm in shape. God forbid that I don't do what everybody else do and I actually want to make sure I can perform my job at a high level. You know what? He looked at me like, yeah. When you do things that's different than other people, than 99% of the majority of men, you already stand out as different. In fact, being lean, it just makes them feel like they know they should be taking care of themselves. They know that they should be working out, eating better, but because they don't do it, it's a spotlight shining down on their laziness, their lack of ability, and they're fully competent, they can do it, but it makes them feel insecure because you take care of yourself. So when you're in shape, when you're lean and you just look different, people will make certain comments about you. But again, I want you to realize it's nothing about you, it's all about them because it's a mirror shining back on how they feel about themselves. But being in shape and being lean is also a rare thing as well. And I want you to understand how rare it is to be in shape and be lean because social media has desensitized us or made us believe that everybody's in shape. You scroll on your feed and you see this guy, he's peeled, he's ripped. Go to the next page. He's peeled, he's also ripped. Other guy, 5% body fat. But that stuff is not realistic. And I hope you know social media isn't realistic. When you step outside your home, how many people do you see who's actually in shape? Not many at all. Well, you may say, okay, well, that's the masses of people. But go even further. When you're in the gym, how many of people who are in the gym who's supposed to be in shape are really lean and really muscular? Not many people. So when you're lean and when you're muscular, you stand out even in the gym, a place where people are supposed to be peeled and ripped. Being lean is so rare, I don't want you to take it for granted. And people will treat you differently. I highlighted one aspect of how people could react to you in a negative way. But again, it's nothing about you, it's all about them. But there's so many positive aspects to being lean and to being in shape as well. And people react differently. I've noticed that when I was transporting patients to the ER, you can have a group of nurses and they're embedded in conversation, they're laughing. But when I walk in, all the laughter and the conversation stops. And it's like a deer in headlights. My patient isn't critical. It's just I walked in and they're looking at me. Because when you take care of yourself, you stand out as different. Because you got to look at most people, they're doom scrolling, eating fast foods, heavily processed foods, and they're just lazy. But when you see someone who stands out and they take care of themselves, it's your eyes automatically go to it. So I noticed that and they just perk up. Even some of the guys I work with, they say, oh man, look at this guy. You know, they talk to me in a positive way, or they may share like, hey, guess what I did today? I worked out today. Like they view me as someone who cares for themselves, as a disciplined person. And it's all because I'm lean and relatively lean shape and I take care of myself. Even when you go out, like I've noticed when I'm at the grocery store, like someone may look at me as like, oh, they're looking at what I'm buying. And you look at their cart and their cart is filled with Oreos, potato chips, like bad sugary cereals and so on and so forth. But the thing about me is, if anybody knows me, I love ice cream, I love sweets, and I still have those things. But I don't let ultra processed foods be 90% of my diet. Instead, I let that be the 10 to 15% of my diet. Because working out is not a diet at all. Eating good is not a diet at all. Because once you really wrap your mind around being in shape is a lifestyle, that's when everything changes. Just as you wake up in the morning, you use the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, that's a part of your hygiene. Working out is the same way. We shouldn't even think about it. It should be a part of our everyday hygiene. So don't be desensitized or think that everyone being lean on social media is the norm. Go out into the real world. What do you see? You will see pretty quickly that's not even a norm. When you step into the gym, you're going to see, wow, is maybe 1 to 2 guys who have a decent physique. Being lean is so rare. You owe it to yourself to see, what does it feel like to be lean? Because then you signal to other people that you respect yourself enough to take care of yourself. And guess what? People see it. Because again, it's like seeing a unicorn out in the street. And being lean has so many more than just the physical benefits. Do you know what it takes to actually get lean? It takes a different mindset. It takes a different person. It takes a different identity for you to become lean. So you owe it to yourself so you can build those traits as consistency, as discipline, as just being a callous iron mind. It's a different kind of person, and you owe it to yourself. You can't grow old and say, man, I wonder what I could have been like in my 30s. I wonder if I could have been like in my 40s. Again, I'm someone who pride myself on working out, and I'm impressed anytime I see a gentleman who's in his 30s, who's in his 40s, and he takes care of himself. I'm not that impressed with the 20-year-olds because you're supposed to be in shape. You can look at a dumbbell and put on muscle just by looking at it. For us who are 30s and in our 40s, it's harder for us. We got responsibilities. We lose muscle. It's like under 1% per year. It's harder for us to put on muscle. So when I see a guy who's in shape and he's just as strong, if not stronger, than the 20-year-olds, to me, hats off to him. He got my respect. So being lean is rare. You owe it to yourself to get in shape. Summer 2026 is here. Do it for yourself and watch others stare at you like you're a unicorn. I see you guys in the next one.